Chapter 15, The Grid and Implants. I know I'm jumping around a bit, but when I was in 10th grade, my best friend Brenda came to school highly upset. This would have been around 1973. We had been friends through elementary, junior high, and were now high school. Brenda entered my classroom during break. She told how her boyfriend was in the hospital and she had to get to him. What if he died? Her parents did not approve of their relationship because he was much older. They forbid her to see him and in fact had grounded her. The right thing to do was go to him, didn't I agree? What if he was expecting her? She begged me to go with her, adding that this is what best friends were for. We left the classroom and snuck away from the school building. This wasn't easy because there was security posted in the halls and outside watching for skippers. They had walkie-talkies, even in those days. We saw our clearing and bolted. We went directly to her house so she could get clothes and money. She called a taxi and it met us at her house. The driver took us as far as $27 would go in those days, then pulled off the freeway and dropped us at a gas station. We hiked back up the ravine to the freeway and started hitchhiking. An 18-wheeler picked us up. He began quizzing us. We lied about our ages and the fact we were now considered runaways. He dropped us off and we took yet another car. This man took us to one of her friends' houses, which was along the way to our final destination. While she began trying to contact someone for yet another ride, I sat down on the couch in their long and narrow living room. Suddenly, right in front of me, in the middle of the room appeared a gray being. He had with him a freestanding device. It was about 3 feet wide and about 2 feet deep, and stood about 4 foot high. Relieved to see me on the couch to his left, he beckoned me over. He wanted to show me the device. I got the impression it was something new they were using, and he was rather pleased it had worked. It reminded me of a television because it had a screen, but not brightly lit. It was made of dark gray material and had dials. Turning the dials, he proudly explained how by adjusting them he could get mathematical coordinates on it. I did not like math and recoiled somewhat. He went on to explain how he had used this device to track my location. It had taken him several tries, he said, making minor adjustments to the dials each time he stopped and did not find me. It was like a hit and miss. That's why he was so pleased when he finally had located me. I understood there is a grid around the Earth. This machine apparently maps out the grid mathematically, and they are able to use it to move about. I do not know if the grid is a natural phenomenon or something they facilitated. They have a large grasp on quantum physics. Was there a signal emanating from me that the machine matched up with on the grid? The machine was not the transport device. Rather, he brought the machine along with him. We now have the technology of global positioning systems. I wonder where they got it. But unlike GPS, I feel the gray was moving about on this grid within another dimension as he tracked me. Anyway, he waited until I sat back down before leaving. I got up from the couch and went to sit at the kitchen table, which was adjoining the living room. My back was now to the room where the television had appeared. I vaguely remembered having seen it. I spoke to the young man at the table to my right. That was really weird. How strange. I remember a television-like thing appearing in the middle of your living room, but you don't have a television in your living room. I thought about it and said to the young man, I wonder if they can use that thing to travel forwards and backwards in time. I know they can travel through space. I see a dark tunnel. They travel through tunnels. The guy to my right didn't know what to think. They must have lost me, not expecting me to suddenly up and leave my area. Brenda and I had traveled at least 80 miles in a matter of hours. Whatever implant I had had in those days must not have had much range, but it certainly didn't take them long to notice that I was missing. Brenda and I met our destination, and it was the most backwooded area I have ever been to in all my life. There was an old bedridden man and an outhouse, and it stunk beyond belief. There was no inside toilet. The entire family were total country hicks. The boys wanted me and Brenda to get in the trunk of the car so they could sneak us into the drive-in theater. If I had not stopped her, Brenda would have gotten in. She and I walked to a small local store with coin phone outside. I called my dad's mother. Thank goodness I remembered her number. Grandma kept asking where I was, and truthfully I had no idea. She then gave me bad news. Judy was in the hospital with a ruptured appendix. She was very sick, and they didn't know if she would pull through. I convinced these crazy people to take me home. They dropped me off at the high school for some reason. Brenda left with them. I stood outside the steps, and Roy and a friend picked me up and took me to the hospital. I walked barefoot through the halls because I literally had no shoes. Judy was really sick, barely able to talk to me. That night I pulled two chairs together and tried to sleep. In my back pocket was a white piece of paper with the address and phone number of where Brenda was. Her family were still trying to find her. That night, a nurse snuck in and slipped the paper out of my pocket. Brenda got rescued, but I never saw her again. I heard she became a nurse like me, and thankfully, Judy recovered. One night, an eerie blue glow seeped in through my windows, streaming in around my curtains. A subconscious part of me knew that I had seen this before, but if you were to have asked me only moments earlier, I would have vehemently denied it. Filled with bewilderment, I went to the window to look out. It was nighttime, but the whole area was bathed in blue all around. It was a strange sight. I felt myself being pulled unconscious as my familiar world melted away. On another occasion, they had the back of my head open. While lying on a gurney, I could literally feel the cool air on my brain. One being, seriously at work, carefully wove an instrument deep inside my brain tissue through what I was aware of as cerebral folds. There was no pain. It's like there was a band on my forehead, and a second being held a device that, through vibration, dematerialized the top half of my skull, thus allowing access to my brain. When they remove the device, the physical properties return. This way, there is no entry wound, no bleeding, no scar. I sure do hope he knows what he is doing, I thought. The second thinks that my comment was funny. The surgeon, on the other hand, was not amused. The assistant stepped forward, and again I go unconscious. Years later, a small object showed up on my MRI scan right in the middle of my brain. The technicians were confused because it was there from one angle but not there from another angle. I was told to not worry about it. Did this new implant give them wider range? Or did it give them better neurological control over me? Who knows? If they put the implant in the center of your brain, nobody is going to be removing it. I had been sent for the MRI because I complained to my doctor that I was having missing time. I would head to the store, and the next thing I was aware of would be coming to in the driveway with a bag of groceries. I had no memory of anything in between. It's true I could have just been disassociating due to my undiagnosed post-traumatic stress disorder. With technology, Greys are also able to change the vibratory rate of their body from physical to an etheric. Being able to change the density of their body allows them to move through objects such as ceilings and walls. They dematerialize and rematerialize using vibration. During another very stressful event, they had my left eye out doing something inside my head. I think they left something in there, I'm not sure. The experience had me thinking of the actress, Susan Duncan, who had an artificial eye. Several times they were doing something to my ears. On return, I was standing in my bedroom and said, "What are these things? What are they doing in my ears?" Well, whatever they are, at least they return me and don't kill me. One time they dropped me off and I went straight to the kitchen for peas, and I hated peas. If we were out, no problem, they would put some there. I'm not sure what I was deficient in. Greys are monitoring our health, and I suspect that many miraculous cures are at their hand. Just outside my bedroom windows was a weeping willow tree. One year there were thousands of extremely loud locusts. The relentless noise gave me the creeps. During this time, I would be floated straight up out of bed in a clear capsule enclosure that kept me from the locusts. The capsule passed me through the wall and out across the school field where the aliens were waiting. Sometimes they would give me the mental suggestion to drive to the store, but would have me cut through the school's circular drive. From here, I would park and they would abduct me. Once, I thought I had dreamed that mad dogs had cornered me at the school. My fear of the aliens was so great. During one exam, they said that it was time for me to breed. Back in my room, I remembered. This offended my religious beliefs. "They told me it was time to breed," I said aloud. "How could they tell me that? I'm not married." I was about 15, uneducated, had no job or way to support a child. Their societal norms are antiquated, like telling me to go outside and find food. The most disturbing event came after I had decided that the next time they have me, I was just going to scream. And scream I did, and screamed and screamed and screamed. The two small Greys working on me each took a step back, not knowing what to do. They kept saying, telepathically, "You must stop screaming, you must stop screaming," but the switch to insanity had been flipped and I could not turn it off. A different type of Grey rushed into the room. The two Greys behaved as if they were in trouble. The authority being said, "What is the problem here?" To which they sheepishly replied, "She won't stop screaming." The being turned to me and ordered, "You must stop screaming. If you don't stop screaming, I'm going to have to. The word starts with mar." Not a word that I knew. I seemed to have screamed through the rest of the word anyway. Growing up, I spent a lot of time home alone. In the middle of the day, I had this powerful feeling that something sinister lurked outside had its intent focus on me. It was trying to draw me unconscious, and I fought against it with all my might. As I lay on the bed, unable to move, I heard footsteps coming down our hall towards my room. Just as it was about to enter, I was able to force a muffled sound, which sent it flying back down the hall and out the back bedroom window. The spell was immediately broken, and I awoke. I went to the back window and found it closed. It then occurred to me that as this predator flew away down the hall, there were no footsteps. It literally soared. Some symptoms of alien abductions are hearing your name called, unusual lights, unexplained marks on the body, suddenly rearranging of furniture, musical tones in your head, fears and aversions, feelings of dread, irrational outbursts, unexplainable fatigue, family stories of odd occurrences that may be interpreted as religious, being somewhere and don't know how you got there, missing time, finding the front door open in the morning, finding things that don't belong to you. On the upside, sudden bursts of creativity, spiritual awareness, psychic and intuitive ability, drawn to psychic healing and energy work, empathic, premonitions, prophetic dreams, telepathy, telekinetic events where electrical devices are affected, dreams of flying and of moving objects with the mind, memories of past lives. This concludes Chapter 15. Hope you are enjoying it. If so, leave a like and a comment. And as always, stay curious.